Saturday night?
Yeah, it's the same guy who's been the start of the last 4 weeks.
Okay.
I thought I made that pretty clear, but Everett will start in week 5, and we expect them to start in week 6 and 7 and 8 and 9, 10, 11, 12, and 13. He is getting better. There's so much development that's taking place that's not on Saturdays. I mean, he's learning how to practice and communicate, and he's getting other guys lined up. He couldn't line up underneath the center when we first got here. He's doing all those things. It's coming. We're not a finished product yet, and I got a guy in Tommy Rees that is a guy that can come in and help us while we go through this process of learning, and I'm comfortable with it. I guess that's all I really could say, but yes, Everett will start.
It's the toughest test for your young secondary, with just the way they approach the game and by time to throw deep downfield, especially for maybe Farley.
Well, I mean, you could make the case that this week we can get into cover 6 and play double zone over there. And he's not going to get any action. You know what I mean? I mean, if we wanted to play the game, we're not going to play the game that way. So I guess I think he's been tested last week or 2 weeks ago against Michigan, where he had to, he had to be a run support guy, he had to play some man. We expect them to perform back there. We can do a lot more things in coverage, and hopefully that will give them more and more opportunities to perform at the level we hope they do.
You alluded to some things you're cleaning up in the bye. I think one was Ben Turk, and he seems to have strong seasons and tough starts. It's been something for 3 years going on now, and even his freshman year a little bit. Is it a mental thing you just got to work through with kickers and buckets?
Here's what we're doing with Ben. Ben's a great kid, and he's really, I think we're just trying to minimize the big mistake, the 22-yard or the 18-yard shank, you know what I mean? We're just trying to minimize that. He's been a lot more consistent, and we've really just this year focused on consistency of drop, and Bob Diaco has the punters, and Bob does a really good job with the punters and has really worked hard with Ben on that consistency approach. So that's really what we've tried to do with Ben, and I think he's been more consistent.
Coach, a good time for the bye to maybe temper some of the excitement, but then again, maybe build up the anticipation?
Yeah, I really, I get asked that a lot. When's the best time to have a bye week? I think it's probably if you have some key players injured. We weren't a mash unit. We were banged up a little bit. So, you could say maybe it would be better 2 or 3 weeks from now. But you're always going to deal with the bye week. And at Notre Dame, whether it's good or bad, it's always going to be about a transition to getting him back focused. As I mentioned, I think at the press conference on Tuesday, was that we were coming off a bye week. I think it was Tulsa, and there was a lot of bad noise out there. So whether it's good or bad, I think there's always going to be that out there, and we just try to recenter them, off these bye weeks.
It seems like